With just days before she takes over, incoming Governor Kathy Hochul is looking towards the future, as you just heard there. She also spoke with NBC's Savannah Guthrie just moments ago about her vision for the next era of New York.
How far are you willing to go to clean house and ferret out bad actors inside the administration?
Well, very first steps will be ensuring that anyone who's named in the report released by the Attorney General being involved in any kind of unethical behavior will no longer be part of this administration. They're gone on day one, so let's get that very clear. But secondly, I do believe that we're going to follow the law. I mean, the law prohibits the kind of behavior that was conducted here. And I want to make sure that there's a message that I'm tough. I'm not going to put up with anything that crosses the line or even comes close to the line, because this should be an environment where all people, women, members of the LGBTQ community, anyone is free of harassment, that they can come to work for the people of New York, stay focused, and get the job done. There'll be no more distractions.
Do you believe that the state assembly, the lawmakers there, should proceed with impeachment proceedings against Governor Cuomo?
I am well familiar with the responsibilities of the different levels of government, the different separation of powers, and I don't believe it's my position to weigh in on that situation. But I have full confidence in the Assembly Judiciary Committee as well as the full Assembly to do what is right.
Can I push you on that just a little bit, though? Because, you know, you are coming in as governor, a position of leadership, and there's a divide here. Some say, look, let it go. It's a distraction. It takes resources. It takes time. Others say he should be held accountable and not be able to run for state office again. Where do you come down on that key issue of whether impeachment proceedings should go forward?
You mentioned this is a distraction. I want the people of New York State to know that I will not be distracted from job one, which is to fight COVID and bring back our economy. So that'll be going on in a parallel universe, which I'll be observing, but I don't have a voice in this, and I want that process to play out independently of the responsibilities that I will have, which are quite weighty on day one.
Joining us now is a member of the New York State Assembly. Phil Steck represents the 110th District, which is actually just northwest of Albany. He's also on the Judiciary Committee looking into the allegations against Governor Cuomo. Assemblymember Steck, good morning. Thank you so much for your time on what I can only imagine is a busy week for you. So I'm just wondering, first, I want to pick up right there with what we just heard from the incoming governor, which is essentially a non-answer on whether or not this impeachment process should continue. And I'm wondering, first, this is two parts here. Do you want to hear something more direct from her? And second, of course, what do you want to happen with this impeachment process? Should it continue?
I think Ms. Hochul's answer was perfect, because we've had a problem when Cuomo was governor of him thinking that the government of the state of New York was all about him. We have responsibilities here. This is a deliberative body. We have 107 Democrats. We're going to discuss this, I am sure, among ourselves and in the Judiciary Committee, and come up with an answer. I haven't heard from all my colleagues. I do think it would be possible to continue the impeachment. I think the question is, what is the goal? I am very, very concerned about the governor sitting on an $18 million campaign fund. And I don't see it likely that he would run for office in the state in the future, but that is a concern.
So let me push you on that a little bit there, because I totally hear what you're saying as one of the essential tools of impeachment being the fact that it doesn't allow him to run for office again. And of course, his resignation comes on the heels of that Attorney General report that outlined several sexual harassment allegations. But we, of course, have to keep in context that the impeachment inquiry has other focal points aside from that. It's also the Mario Cuomo Bridge. It's also his book and whether he used state resources, and then how deaths in nursing homes were reported during COVID. So walk me through how things like that continue to be ensured to be held accountable and a thorough investigation goes on if there's not this impeachment process.
Well, I've said repeatedly that the Judiciary Committee should issue a full report on those other issues, regardless of whether the impeachment process ultimately is brought to a conclusion by trial in the state Senate. So I would agree that in order for him to be accountable, the facts have to come out on all the issues that you just mentioned.
And what do you think of Lieutenant Governor Hochul's promise for turnover once she takes office? What degree do you think that needs to go to?
I think that's absolutely critical. I agree completely with now Lieutenant Governor Hochul on that. The whole problem with the toxic work environment extended not only on the basis of someone's identity as a woman or anything else. It was about people being terrified to disagree with the governor. And if you can't have robust debate, as we do when the Assembly Democrats meet to discuss things, you can't have effective government. Democratic government is about people listening to each other, not saying, I was elected governor, therefore I know everything. I don't think Kathy Hochul is going to run her office that way.
New York Assemblymember Phil Steck, again, thank you so much for joining us during quite a busy week for you. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you very much.